Hey everyone, Dr. M here with another Tinkercad video that will rock your world. Today we're going to start making a bracelet, and it's an articulated bracelet. It is several pieces, has a lot of really tight tolerances, so we're going to have to zoom in pretty tight to do our work. But we're only going to be using a couple of objects, so a couple of primitives to do this. The first one we're going to start with, we're going to drag out a box. So go ahead and drag out a box, zoom in on it, hold down your shift key, and we're going to move that to 15 by 15. And then we're going to bring our top down to 4. Why 4? Well, because 4 works really good for printing. There we go. I got my snap grid set on 0.5, so right now I'm going to change it back to 1. So once I have this set, I want to do a little bit of work to it because right now it's kind of rough on the edges, really square. So I want to smooth it out. I'm going to grab my radius here and I'm going to change it to right around 2.6 something. So right around 2.621 looks good. I'm going to increase my steps to 16. And when we zoom in, you're going to see that it's a nice little rounded piece. So that works out pretty well for the base main part, the large part of the bracelet. Now, we're going to cut out 2 sections of it here and here. So we're going to drag out a box hole. We're going to hold down our shift key and we're going to change this to 9 by 9 by 9. So right now, if you check on this, it's 9 by 9. We don't care about the height as long as it's higher than 4. So I'm going to lasso both of those and I'm going to align them, but I just want to align them in the horizontal direction. Oh, not that direction, the wrong one. So let's do that again. This one over here. That aligns them that way. Now, I want to bring this where it's inside the edge 5 millimeters. So I'm going to bring it over, and right now it's touching. So we zoom in, and we get about a 0.5 millimeter space between them. So let me just move that over. You won't have to do this if you start with a 1 millimeter snap grid. Okay, so change this back to 1 again. Now I'm touching right on the edge and I want to move this in 5 millimeters. So I'm going to use my right arrow key and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to push it all the way to the other side. Move it over here so we can see, double check right on the edge. So then I'm going to move it back in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Zoom out a little bit. It looks pretty much like the eye that I want, so I'm going to lasso all of it and I'm going to turn that into a group. Okay, so we have the basic part of what we need to do. Now, we need to create a couple of holes that go through here because we have another segment that's going to sit right inside of this. So we're going to use our cylinder, drag a cylinder out, and before we do anything with the cylinder, we want to increase the height of it a bit. So just drag it up there, something like that, and you'll see why. We're going to hold down our shift key, and we're going to turn this into a 2 by 2. Now, if I had left the cylinder height alone, it would be really hard to grab this and drag it up to 20. So now that I have my cylinder, I'm going to rotate my cylinder so it's at 90 degrees. Then I'm going to drag it over. And if you look, you'll see a shadow on the work plane. That shadow shows approximately where it is in relationship to the larger piece. So again, I want to zoom out and zoom back in again. I want to align these. So I'm going to lasso them. I'm going to use my align tool, and again, I just want this alignment. So right now that's perfectly halfway. Now I'm going to click off, click back on this, and I want to lift it and use my D key to drop it right down to the work plane, and then I'm going to raise it up 1 millimeter. So right now, if you look at the little shadow that's underneath here, it's one line in, so that's 1 millimeter in. And we know that it's 1 millimeter up, and that's exactly where we want to be. So we're going to click off of that, click on it again, duplicate it, and then we're going to push it all the way over here until we see our shadow coming 1 millimeter in. So right now we have the basic part of it just about complete. So we're going to lasso this and we're going to group it. And that's our first part. So if you look, we've got the holes go straight through. This is our first part, and that's as far as we're going to go with it today. So look for tomorrow's video where you build the small part, and then Wednesday's video where you start adding in some other items and duplicating these into a big long bracelet. So, sorry. Hope you have fun doing this. I'll see you later.